protein. You need protein. And the best protein, the cleanest burning fuel protein, is legumes and nuts and seeds. So legumes, that's lima beans, black-eyed beans, cannellini beans, chickpeas, lentils, soy. Soy is only a problem if it's been genetically modified. Nuts can be overdone, so 10 a meal, and seeds. So seeds, probably about a quarter of a cup per meal. Most people don't eat that many nuts or seeds, do they? Most people don't eat nuts for a month and then buy a packet of cashews and eat the whole lot in the afternoon, is that right? They are expensive, but they're not expensive if you only have a few. You need protein.
All right, Shalom. This is Ariel Ben Yasharallah down here in the Lions Den camp. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash, Ma'amath. A double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. Double honor to my elder as well, a hard one Ben Yasharallah down here in the Lions Den camp. And a sincere tawada to the Akim, the Akwatim, and the children of the pushing the truth with sincerity and truth. It's like this is I wanted to land back off of a lesson that the brother of this camp did, Athanya Allah, that he did on the mystery meat that's been FDA approved to be sold. About the mystery meat, the lab-grown meat that's been approved by the FDA to be sold to us consumers, and just land backing off that, I wanted to read a story, read an account in the scriptures, because it's really wicked what Esau's doing, allowing that stuff to be sold, to be eaten and digested. But this is Daniel chapter 1, verse 1. It says, in the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar. I think it's Nebuchadnezzar. It's like, yeah, I'm not sure. King of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of Yahweh, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, so all the highborn, all the nobles of Israel, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now among these were of the children Judah, Now among these were of the children of Judah Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs, gave names. For he gave unto Daniel the name Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Now, it doesn't say it here in the scriptures, like whether or not the meat was like unlawful, but Daniel proposed in his heart that he didn't want to defile himself with the king's meat. So, nor the wine that which he drank. Therefore he requested the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now Yahweh had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And that's like you get pulled over, but you get pulled over by like an Edomite cop, and just so happens that you just vibing with that Edomite cop. He just Jake has that spirit about him where they can just kind of vibe with their enemy, in a sense. The spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is dealing with you. But verse 10, It says, and the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, and the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking the children which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king. So the prince of the eunuchs was worried that if they didn't eat what they were told to eat, that the eunuch would be beheaded, because it was an order from the king. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give pulse to eat and water to drink. And that's why I have this on the screen right here. These are some common pulses. Pulses are dried seeds of legume plants. And just as that video explained, legumes are beans, and then you have pulses, which are dried seeds grown all over the globe. So you have dry beans, lentils, faba beans, dry peas, cowpeas, chickpeas, bambara beans, pigeon peas, vetches, and lupins. Hundreds of varieties of pulses are grown in 173 countries around the world. The images on this page are a small representation of the pulse varieties that you may see at your local market. So while people in these upcoming times, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be in a poor state. You know, a lot of people here in America, here in Babylon, are not going to have spiritual guidance to stay away from lab-grown meats. They're not going to have spiritual guidance to stay away from these abominable foods that's going to be offered by the government. Okay, but more so, we should be looking towards 100%. We should be looking towards the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. But on a day-to-day level, we can just we can kind of like alter our diet, so that way in the days of trouble, in the days of less, we have the mindset and we have the spirit to kind of go back into the scriptures and go with the things that our forefathers went with. Melazar, what verse was that on? So Azariah, prove that servant. What is your right? I'm on verse 12. It says, of Daniel chapter 1, verse 12. It says, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer and fattier in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. And just like the lady said in the video I played in the beginning of the lesson, that that us as humans, we need protein, and the cleanest, quickest form of protein are seeds, legumes, and so these pulses here. Lentils, we know about lentils. It kind of gives a little. You have large green lentils, you have red lentils, split red lentils, fresh green lentils. So there's a lot of different lentils. Chickpeas, kabali, desi, split chickpea. These are all pigeon peas. There's only one type of pigeon pea. Lupins so one type of lupin. Vetches, one type of vetch. Bambara beans, I've never heard of that one. A lot of these I never heard of. Like, these are like those little crackers. But these are this is just stuff we can kind of get into to take our mind out of this place, because the more and more we read the scriptures, and not only reading and hearing, but we also like do what's in the scriptures, following after the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and also just looking up different foods and looking up different diets. Well, ultimately, the diet of the dietary law that was given to us by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that's the ultimate diet we should be operating our body on. but even more so with all these abominable abominable foods that Esau is coming out with. The FDA just approved lab-grown meats, and they have the ability to kind of like set it to make a taste, and there's no telling what's in lab-grown meat. Like there's no telling what's in there. All right, yeah, they might say it's chicken, but it don't got no bone. It wasn't slaughtered. You know, it was probably made out of pork. You know, it's just a whole manner of confusion within that. I'm gonna keep reading Daniel chapter 1. I'm on verse. Took away the portion. I'm on verse 15. It says, "And at the end of the 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer and fattier in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, Yahweh gave them knowledge." So for adhering, for not defiling himself, for not defiling themselves, Yahweh gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. I think that's Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them, and among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king, and in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm. And Daniel continued even unto the first year of King Cyrus Khan. So that is the glory and blessing that we receive by adhering to the glory of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, by standing firm by standing firm on the knowledge, wisdom, and stability of Yahweh Shem Yahshua, by always reading the scriptures, praying, going out on the highways and byways, and doing the best of our ability to follow the law, statutes, commandments of the Yahweh Shem Yahushai, doing our best to do that in this dreadful kingdom. All right, you know, we would be blessed with let me see, verse 20, "And in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than the magicians." So all these sorcerers that, you know, these sorcerers that are making fucking lab grown meat, you know, they'll probably say, oh, it's packed with so many vitamins and all, you know how Esau is when he makes some fucking new scientific discovery and shit like that. But all it is just sorcery. All right, and astrologers. All right, so astrologer probably is like, oh, you know, eat this on a full moon, your chakras will be aligned. You know, some dumbass shit like that. That were all in his realm, Khan. So we shouldn't fear anything that's coming from Esau. You know, we know that the only reason that he's doing this because he's walking around like a lion seeking whom he may devour, because he know he had but a short time. All right, so I pray this lesson was edifying. Shalom.